In this lesson, I will show you the ability to save your Excel files in different formats, in different file types. Excel files have the .xlsx extension, which you can see in the title bar. This is the extension I will be using in this tutorial, but also the extension you will be using when you work with Excel. The .xlsx is the default extension, the default file type, the default format, and the one you normally want. However, files with the .xlsx extension can be opened from Excel's version 2007 and later. If someone has an extremely old version like Excel 2003 or Excel XP, they cannot open these files. You will also want to use the data in an Excel workbook from another application that cannot read .xlsx files. What can be done in these cases is to save your file in a different format, in a different file type. All this can be done from the File tab and the Save As option. I will click on the File tab and I will select Save As. I explained the Save As feature in the previous lesson simply as an option to save a file with a different name or a different folder or both. Now I'm going to use it to save the file in a different format. I will click on Browse and notice in this dialog box under the File Name text box there is the Save As type list. I will click on the list to open it, and here I can choose in which format I want to save my workbook. First on this list is the Excel workbook type, which has the xlsx extension. There are also some other formats which are not within the scope of this course to explain. If you continue to the advanced level course, you will learn about some of these formats there. What I'm interested in now is to save the workbook in a format that can be used by very old versions of Excel. The option I want for that is the Excel 95 2003 workbook. Here the extension is just XLS without the X at the end. So if you see an Excel workbook with the XLS extension, it is a workbook that can be used from every version of Excel, even the very old ones. I will click on this option, and as you can see, the extension in the file name text box is now XLS. I will click the Save button to complete the process, and a window called the Compatibility Checker shows up. When I save a file in an older version format, some features may not be able to be saved. This window shows any issues found, and you should pay attention when you really want something like this to happen. It's not part of this series of lessons to talk more about this, so I will just click on Continue to proceed with the save process. At first, it may seem like nothing special happened. The only visible change is in the title bar, where you can see that the name of the file has changed and the extension is now XLS. I will close this file with the X here at the top right corner, and the new file that has been created appears on the desktop. It has the same name as the old file, but the extension is .xls. One more thing to notice is that the XLS file has a different icon than the XLSX file to indicate that it is an older version format of an Excel file. I will now double click on the file with the XLS extension to open it. Notice that in the title bar next to the file name with the extension, it says Compatibility Mode. This is because the file is in an older format, and so it informs me that it opened in compatibility mode. What does this mean? Is that in general what you need to know is that when you save a workbook in the file format of an older version, some features that exist in new versions may not be saved. Most of them, however, are saved, and you can usually continue your work without any problems. So if you have a friend or co-worker who works with a version of Excel older than 2007, you can save your file in XLS format, the one without the X at the end, so that they can also open this file. I said at the beginning of this series of lessons that Excel is the most popular spreadsheet application, but it's not the only one. There are other spreadsheet applications like Excel, or more generally applications to which you would like to send data or the results of a workbook. For this reason, there is a format which is very convenient and widely used. The format is called CSV. CSV stands for Comma Separated Values. Let's see this in action. I will go to the File tab, I will click Save As, and I will click on Browse. Here I will click on the Save As type list, and as you can see in the list that unfolds, there are various CSV formats. I want the comma delimited CSV. The rest of the CSV formats you see in this list are for even older situation. that is when I have a very old computer. I will click on the CSV comma delimited option, and notice in the file name text box that the name has been kept intact and the only change has been the different extension. I will click on save, and an alert message box appears warning me that the selected file type doesn't support multiple worksheets. That means that only the data on the worksheet that is selected, worksheet 1 in this case, will be saved. The data in worksheet 2 and 3 will be lost. Since in this example I just want the data from worksheet 1, I will press OK. It also warns me that some features may be lost, but when you save a file in a CSV format, the only thing that matters is to have the data stored in a raw format and nothing else. So I will just press the X button to dismiss this message. Now notice in the title bar that it is saved as a CSV. To understand exactly what I achieved with the CSV file format, I will close Excel with the X and see that a file with the CSV extension exists now on the desktop. To open it, I will right-click on the file, I will select the option Open With, and I will choose Notepad. As you can see, with a very simple program such as Notepad, I was able to see the contents of the file. The formatting wasn't saved, but just the data itself. This is useful in situations where you want to be able to feed the data to other applications. Almost all applications you might want to feed data to can read such files, so CSV files are a way to export your data from Excel and import it into another application that can't directly read xlsx files that Excel produces. There are many more options to export or import data, but that is covered in the advanced level course. Let's now look at a couple of other file types you can use to save your work. I will close the Notepad and open the original xlsx file again. I will click on the File tab and then I will select Save As. Now I will click on Browse and then I will click on the Save As list box. Once again, you can see in the list that opens that there are many more formats. You can save your file as a web page. That means that you can save your file in the HTML format that can even be uploaded to a server as a web page. You can also save it as a template. This is something that I will talk about in great detail a bit later in this series of lessons, where you will explore what Excel templates are. There are also other formats like PDF or XPS. XPS is the technology created by Microsoft and it is equivalent to PDF, which is a technology created by Adobe. In general, you have the ability here to choose various formats in which you may want to save your file. What I mostly want you to remember from all this is the ability to save your file as an older version of Excel and the ability to save your file as a raw delimited values, the CSV format. In general, you should remember that if you need to save a file with a different name, in a different folder, or in a different format, you can do it by going to the File tab, Save As, and Browse. Also, remember that the data you have inside an Excel workbook may need to be used by other programs, and that is why there are all these different saving formats. That's all for this lesson. Thank you for watching.